Taman woke up with his heart beating fast. Water was still falling in his mind. Clear drops from a gray sky hitting his face with tiny, cold touches. He could almost feel it on his skin when he opened his eyes. But there was no water here. There never was. The ceiling above him glowed with the same soft blue light it always did. The walls of his small room were smooth crystal, just like everything else on Vorthak. He sat up on his sleeping pad and rubbed his face with both hands. The dream felt so real again. He had been having the same dream for months now. Sometimes it was water falling from above. Sometimes it was huge open spaces covered in green that moved in the wind. Sometimes it was a bright yellow circle in a blue sky that warmed his face. The Vorthaki called these dreams neural problems. They said his brain was making up things that could never be real. Taman got dressed in his work clothes and walked to the small mirror on his wall. His face looked back at him. Soft skin, dark hair, brown eyes. He looked nothing like the Vorthaki. They were tall and thin with bodies that looked like living crystal. Their faces had no nose or mouth like his. They spoke through vibrations in their crystal skin. Elder Kethra had found him as a baby in a broken ship. She told him his people were called Terra Spawn. She said they were creatures from old stories that the ancient Vorthaki used to tell each other. Not real, just made up. But if Terra Spawn were not real, why was he here? Taman left his room and walked through the crystal hallways to the archive center. Other Vorthaki moved past him. Their crystal bodies caught the light and threw rainbow colors on the walls. Some of them looked at him as he passed. He had gotten used to their stares over the years. The archive center was a huge, round room filled with thousands of data crystals. Each crystal held information about Vorthaki history, science, and culture. Taman worked here every day, reading through old records and organizing them. The Vorthaki said his soft fingers were good for handling the delicate crystals. He sat down at his workstation and picked up the first crystal of the day. As soon as he touched it, information flowed into his mind. This was how Vorthaki technology worked. Touch a crystal and know what was inside it. But for Taman it was different. He could not just read the crystals, he could feel them. Sometimes he found things that were not supposed to be there. The first few crystals were boring. Records of mineral trades and weather patterns on Vorthak. But the fourth crystal felt strange in his hands. There was something hidden inside it, something that made his fingers tingle. Taman looked around the archive center. The other workers were busy with their own crystals. Elder Kethra was not here today. He was alone. He closed his eyes and let his mind sink deeper into the crystal. Most Vorthaki could only read the surface information, but Taman had learned that he could go deeper. He could find things that were buried. Inside the crystal, past all the normal data, he found something small. It was like a whisper hidden in a shout. Numbers, coordinates, and one word that made his heart stop. Earth. The word appeared in his mind in different ways, different shapes and sounds, but all meaning the same thing. Earth. The place from his dreams. Taman pulled his hand away from the crystal fast. His breathing was quick and shallow. Earth was supposed to be a myth, just a story. But here it was, hidden in an official Vorthaki archive crystal. He looked at the crystal again. It was marked as containing trade records from 200 years ago. Nothing special. Nothing that should have the word Earth inside it. His hands were shaking as he picked up his drawing pad. Taman had been drawing his dreams for months. Pictures of the falling water, pictures of the green spaces, pictures of the bright yellow circle in the blue sky. He hid these drawings under his sleeping pad. The Vorthaki would not understand. But now he drew something different. He drew the coordinates he had found. The numbers burned in his memory like fire. Next to them, he wrote the word Earth in all the different ways he had seen it. The rest of the day passed slowly. Taman could not focus on his work. His mind kept going back to the hidden data. Why was Earth mentioned in Vorthaki records if it was just a story? Why were there coordinates? Coordinates to what? When his workday ended, Taman did not go straight home. Instead, he walked to the observation deck on the top level of the archive center. Through the crystal walls, He could see the landscape of Vorthak. Red crystal mountains reached up to a purple sky. 3 small moons hung overhead. It was beautiful, but it was not home. How did he know it was not home? The Vorthaki had raised him since he was a baby. This was the only world he had ever known. But something deep inside him knew this was not where he belonged. Taman closed his eyes and tried to remember his dream from that morning. The water falling from the sky. In the dream he had not been afraid. He had opened his mouth and let the water touch his tongue. It tasted clean and fresh. Better than the recycled water he drank every day on Vorthak. In another part of the dream, he had been running through the green spaces. His bare feet touched soft ground that gave way under his weight. The air moved around him and carried smells he could not name. Sweet smells, living smells, and always, in every dream, there was the feeling that he was supposed to be there, that the place with falling water and green spaces and the warm yellow circle was where he belonged. A voice behind him made him jump. "You look troubled, young one." Taman turned around. Elder Kethra stood in the doorway. Her crystal body was tall and elegant. Light moved through her like water. She had been his guardian for 25 years, but sometimes he still felt nervous around her. "I was just thinking," Taman said. "About your dreams again?" Kethra moved closer. When she walked, her crystal feet made soft chiming sounds on the floor. "I have told you before, these visions in your sleep are just neural static, your brain creating impossible things. But what if they are not impossible?" The words came out before Taman could stop them. Kethra was quiet for a long moment. The light inside her crystal body pulsed slowly. "What do you mean?" Taman wanted to tell her about the coordinates, about the word Earth hidden in the archive crystal. But something made him stop. A feeling in his chest that said this was dangerous. "Nothing," he said instead. "You are probably right." Kethra studied him with her glowing eyes. "I found you, in the wreckage of a small ship," she said. "You were barely alive. There was nothing else with you, no records, no identification, no clues about where you came from." "I know," Taman said. She had told him this story many times. The ship was damaged beyond repair. Ancient design, probably from scavengers or traders. Your parents were most likely criminals who died in space. Taman nodded, but her words felt wrong. They always had. "Go home," Kethra said. "Get some rest. Tomorrow I will assign you to different work. Perhaps handling the archive crystals is affecting your neural patterns." After she left, Taman stayed on the observation deck for a long time. He looked up at the purple sky and the 3 moons. Somewhere out there, past the stars, was a place where water fell from the sky. He was sure of it now. He touched the drawing, pad in his pocket. The coordinates were still there waiting. Tomorrow he would find a way to research them. He would learn what Earth really was, and maybe, finally, he would understand why he dreamed of rain. Taman could not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the coordinates floating in his mind like bright stars. The numbers meant something important. He was sure of it. When morning came, he got dressed quickly and went to work, early. The archive center was empty except for the cleaning robots. Perfect. He needed time alone to search through more crystals. But as he reached for the first crystal, a voice stopped him. "You are here early today?" Taman turned around. A young Vorthaki stood near the entrance. She was smaller than most of her kind, with crystal skin that glowed soft green instead of the usual blue. He had seen her before but never talked to her. "I could not sleep," Taman said. The Vorthaki moved closer. "My name is Sora. I work in the science section." She paused and looked around the empty room. "I have been watching you." Taman felt nervous. "Watching me? Why?" "Because you are different," Sora said. "Not just because you are not Vorthaki. You see things others do not see. You find things in the crystals that are supposed to be impossible to find. I do not know what you mean." Sora sat down across from him. When she moved, her crystal body made musical sounds like wind chimes. "Yesterday you found something in crystal number 4847. something that made you very excited. Then you became afraid. Taman stared at her. How could she know that? I have devices that watch the crystal readers, Sora explained. They measure brain activity. Your patterns were very unusual yesterday. Are you going to report me? No. Sora leaned forward. I want to help you, because I think you found something that proves my research. What research? Sora looked around, again to make sure they were alone. I study quantum frequencies, signals that come from very far away. For 3 years, I have been detecting patterns that match no known Vorthaki world. Taemin felt his heart beating faster. What kind of patterns? Organized, signals like messages. They come from a star system that is not on any of our official maps. But I found coordinates for it in very old records. Records that are marked as mythology. Sora pulled out a small data pad and showed it to Taemin. Numbers filled the screen. They looked familiar. These are the same coordinates I found yesterday, Taemin whispered. Sora's crystal body flashed bright green. You found coordinates? Where? Taemin told her about the hidden data in the archive crystal, about the word Earth written in different languages. As he talked, Sora's glow became brighter and brighter. This is incredible, she said. I have been looking for proof that these signals are real, that they come from an actual world with living beings. But Elder Kethra says Earth is just a myth, a story from old times. What if she is wrong? Sora asked. What if Earth is real, and someone does not want us to know about it? The idea made Taemin feel cold and excited at the same time. Why would anyone hide the truth about Earth? I do not know, but I have an idea about how we can find out. Sora led Taemin to a section of the archive center he had never seen before, deep underground, past several locked doors. She used her access codes to get them inside. This is the restricted archive, she explained. Only senior researchers can come here, but I have special permission for my quantum studies. The restricted archive was much smaller than the main center. Only a few hundred crystals sat on the shelves. But these crystals felt different, older, more powerful. These contain the oldest Vorthaki records, Sora said. Things from before our modern history began. Most of it is marked as mythology or ancient fiction. They started searching through the crystals together. Sora could read them the normal way, but Taemin used his special ability to look deeper, to find the hidden things. For 2 hours they found nothing useful. Stories about old wars, records of ancient trade routes, myths about creatures that lived in distant stars. Then Taemin picked up a crystal that made his whole body tingle. This one, he said. There is something big inside this one. He closed his eyes and let his mind sink into the crystal, past the surface data about ancient Vorthaki festivals, past the middle layer about old religious beliefs, down to the very bottom where the buried secrets lived. And there, hidden like treasure at the bottom of an ocean, he found it, Sol 3, Terra, Earth, the same world, called by 3 different names, and not just stories, real reports, military reports. Sora, Taemin said, his voice shaking. I found something terrible. She moved closer as he shared what he was seeing. Records of Vorthaki ships traveling to a distant world. Records of a war. Records of resources taken. Records of prisoners. Prisoners? Sora asked. Taemin dug deeper into the crystal. Images flowed into his mind. A blue and green world covered with water and land, cities full of creatures that looked just like him, and Vorthaki ships attacking those cities. They fought a war with Earth, Taemin said. The Vorthaki invaded my world. Your world? The people in these records, they look exactly like me. Same skin, same hair, same eyes. They are my people. Sora was quiet for a long moment. Her crystal body had stopped glowing almost completely. If this is true, then Elder Kethra lied to you. Earth is not a myth. It is a real place that the Vorthaki attacked. Taemin kept reading the buried records. His heart felt like it was breaking and burning at the same time. The war had been terrible. The Earth people had fought hard, but they could not win against Vorthaki crystal technology. They took children, he whispered. During the war, they took human children from Earth. Human. That is what my people are called. Humans, not Terraspawn. That is just a Vorthaki word that means children of Earth. Sora reached out and touched his arm gently. Taemin, if they took human children, then you are one of them. I know. Taemin pulled his hand away from the crystal. The hidden memories were too painful to see anymore. They stole me from my real family. They stole me from my real world. What else does the crystal say? Did any humans escape the war? Taemin forced himself to look deeper. More images flowed into his mind. Ships fleeing from Earth as it burned. Some humans getting away before the final attack. Yes, he said. Some escaped, but the records do not say where they went. Sora stood up and started walking back and forth. Her crystal feet made worried music on the floor. This is very dangerous information. If the Vorthaki leaders knew, we found this, they would stop us, or worse. Taemin thought about Elder Kethra. She had raised him with kindness. She had given him food and shelter and education. But she had also lied to him about everything important. About who he was. About where he came from. About what happened to his people. There is more, he said, looking at the crystal again. Other children. The records mention other human children taken during the war. How many? Dozens, maybe hundreds, spread across different Vorthaki worlds. Sora stopped walking. You mean there are others like you? Other humans who were raised as Vorthaki and told their people were myths? Yes, and they deserve to know the truth too. They spent the rest of the morning copying the hidden data onto Sora's personal storage device. The process was slow and careful. They could not leave any trace that someone had accessed these records. As they worked, Taemin felt his dreams make sense for the first time. The falling water was rain from Earth's sky. The green spaces were forests and fields where humans lived. The warm yellow circle was Earth's sun. He was not crazy. He was not having neural problems. He was remembering his real home. We need to find the other humans, he told Sora. That will be very difficult. And very dangerous. I do not care. They have the right to know who they really are. Sora looked at him with her glowing eyes. If we do this, there will be no going back. The Vorthaki leaders will not let us share this information freely. Then, we will have to be smarter than them. As they prepared to leave the restricted archive, Taemin heard something that made his blood freeze. Footsteps in the hallway outside. Heavy footsteps that belonged to Elder Kethra. Someone is coming, he whispered. Sora quickly hid her storage device and moved to a different section of crystals. They both pretended to be doing normal research when the door opened. Elder Kethra entered the room. Her crystal body was glowing brighter than usual, a sign that she was upset or suspicious. What are you doing here, Taemin? She asked. You are not authorized for the restricted archive. I brought him, Sora said quickly. He is helping me with quantum frequency research. Kethra looked back and forth between them. What kind of research? Signal analysis from distant star systems, Sora replied. Nothing important. But Taemin could see that Kethra did not believe her. The elder's eyes were too bright, too focused. She suspected something. Taemin, Kethra said. Come with me. Now. As they left the restricted archive, Taemin looked back at Sora. She nodded slightly. The message was clear. They would continue their search. They would find the other humans, and they would discover the full truth about what the Vorthaki had done to Earth. Elder Kethra led Taemin through the crystal corridors without speaking. Her footsteps echoed in the silence like hammer blows. Taemin could feel anger coming from her crystal body in waves of hot light. They entered her private office, a room Taemin had only seen a few times in his life. The walls were covered with memory crystals that glowed like stars. Each one contained years of Vorthaki history and knowledge. Sit down, Kethra commanded. Taemin sat in the chair across from her desk. The crystal surface was smooth and cold under his hands. You have been asking questions, Kethra said. Questions about things that do not concern you. I do not know what you mean. Kethra's crystal body flashed bright red. Do not lie to me, young one. I raised you from an infant. I know when you are not telling the truth. She walked to one of the memory crystals on her wall and touched it. Images filled the air between them. Pictures of Taimin in the archive center. Pictures of him finding the hidden coordinates. Pictures of him talking to Sora. You have been watched since the day I found you, Kethra said. Every movement, every word, every action. I needed to know if you would become dangerous. Dangerous? I work in your archives. I organize crystals. How is that dangerous? Because you are human. The word hit Taimin like lightning. She had said it so casually, like mentioning the weather. You know? He whispered. Of course I know. I have always known. Kethra sat down across from him. The question is, how much do you know? Taimin's mind raced. Should he tell her about the restricted archive? About what he and Sora had discovered? Something in her crystal eyes warned him to be careful. I know that Earth is real, he said finally. I know that humans are real. And I know you lied to me. Kethra was quiet for a long moment. The light inside her crystal body pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Yes, she said. I lied to you, but not from cruelty, from necessity. What necessity? Kethra stood up and walked to another wall crystal. She touched it and new images appeared. A blue and green world spinning in space. Cities full of humans. Oceans and forests and mountains. Earth, she said. Your birth world. Beautiful and rich with resources that the Vorthaki needed. More images appeared. Vorthaki ships approaching Earth. Human ships trying to fight them off. Explosions in space and on the planet's surface. We did not want a war, Kethra continued. We only wanted to trade, to share resources peacefully. But humans are difficult creatures. Difficult how? Stubborn, emotional, violent when threatened. The images changed to show human soldiers fighting Vorthaki forces. We offered them technology and knowledge in exchange for mining rights. They refused. They said we wanted to steal from them. Taimin watched the battle scenes with growing horror. Human cities burning. Vorthaki crystal weapons cutting through buildings like they were made of paper. So you invaded? We defended ourselves, Kethra corrected. Humans attacked our trade ships. First, we had no choice but to respond with force. But the images told a different story. Taimin could see Vorthaki ships surrounding Earth, blocking escape routes. This was not defense. This was conquest. You destroyed my world. We tried to save, but humans would not surrender. They kept fighting even when they could not win, even when their cities were falling, even when their children were dying. New images appeared. Human families running from burning buildings. Parents pushing children into escape pods. A woman with kind eyes holding a baby and crying. Taimin's heart stopped. He knew that face. He had seen it in his dreams. My mother, he breathed. Yunji was her name, Kethra said softly. She was a weather scientist. She studied the rain patterns you dream about. The images showed more. A man in a military uniform fighting desperately to protect the escape pods. He looked like Taimin but older and stronger. And my father? Jinho, a resistance leader. He died destroying one of our mining stations to give the escape ships more time. Taimin felt tears running down his face. His parents had died fighting, the Vorthaki. Fighting the people who raised him. Why are you showing me this? Because you need to understand. We did not take you to be cruel. We took you to save you. More images appeared. Human children being loaded onto Vorthaki ships, hundreds of them. All very young. All crying for their parents. When it became clear that humans would never surrender, we made a choice. We could kill every human on Earth, or we could save the children and let them live better lives. Better lives? Taimin stood up angrily. You stole us from our families, you lied to us about who we are, you made us forget our own people. We gave you food, shelter, education, and safety. We raised you with love and care. Would you rather have died with your parents on a burning world? Taemin wanted to scream at her, but the images were still playing. He saw Earth's final moments, the blue and green world turning gray and dead, the oceans boiling away, the forests burning to ash. You killed everyone. The planet was already dying. Human wars and pollution had damaged it beyond repair. We simply ended its suffering. That is not true. Earth was healthy. The records in the restricted archive prove it. Kethra's crystal body flashed red again. So you did access the classified files. With Sora's help, I assume. Taemin realized he had revealed too much. But it was too late to take the words back. The restricted archive contains many things, Kethra said. Old records, military reports, personal logs from the war. But they do not tell the complete story. What complete story? Kethra touched another crystal. The images changed to show inside views of human cities. Taemin saw something that made him sick. Humans fighting each other, destroying their own buildings, poisoning their own air and water. Humans were already destroying themselves when we arrived. We simply gave them a quicker end than the slow death they had chosen. No, that is not true. Look at the evidence. Human records from before we arrived. They show wars, pollution, starvation, disease. Earth was dying because humans killed it. But something in the images felt wrong to Taemin. They were too perfect, too convenient, like they had been created to support Kethra's story. You are lying again. I am trying to help you understand. Humans are dangerous, Taemin, even the children, especially the children. What do you mean? Kethra walked closer to him. Her crystal body was glowing brighter now, casting strange shadows on the walls. Other human children we rescued have caused problems. They ask questions like you do. They remember things they should not remember. They become angry and violent when they learn the truth. What happened to them? Some accepted their new lives and lived peacefully. Others... Kethra paused. Others had to be helped to forget again. The words sent ice through Taemin's veins. Help to forget? Neural adjustment. A process that removes dangerous memories and thoughts. It is painless and permanent. You erase their minds. We help them find peace. Just as I am offering to help you. Taemin stepped backward toward the door. You want to erase my memories. I want to save you from the pain of truth. You can continue living here happily, working in the archives, having a good life. You simply need to forget these dangerous ideas about Earth and humans and resistance. And if I refuse, Kethra's crystal body pulsed with sad light. Then I will be forced to make the choice for you. What about Sora? Will you erase her memories too? Sora chose to help you break our laws. She will face the consequences of that choice. Taemin thought about his friend, about her kindness and her courage in helping him find the truth. The Vorthaki would punish her for being loyal to him. I need time to think, he said. You have until tomorrow morning. Then you will report to the medical center for neural adjustment, or security forces will bring you there. Kethra turned away from him, a sign that their conversation was over. But as Taemin reached the door, she spoke again. I do love you, young one. In my own way. Everything I have done was to protect you from a universe that would destroy you. Otherwise, Taemin looked back at her. My name is not Young One, it is not Taemin either. My real name was Minho. How do you know that? Because my mother whispered it to me while she held me. And no matter how many times you erase my memories, some part of me will always remember. He left Kethra's office and walked quickly through the crystal corridors. He had less than 24 hours before they would steal his mind. Less than 24 hours to save Sora and find a way to contact the other humans. As he walked, Minho made a promise to his dead parents. He would not let their sacrifice be forgotten. He would not let the Vorthaki erase the truth about what they had done, and somehow he would make sure that every stolen human child learned who they really were. The rain in his dreams was calling him home. It was time to answer. Minho did not go back to his room that night. Instead, he hid in the lower levels of the archive center and waited. He needed to find Sora before the security forces found them both. The building was dark and quiet. Most Vorthaki slept during the night cycle, their crystal bodies dim and still. Minho moved through the shadows like a ghost, avoiding the patrol routes he had memorized over the years. He found Sora in her laboratory, frantically copying data from her research crystals onto portable storage devices. "Minho," she said when she saw him, "I was hoping you would come. We do not have much time. Kethra knows everything. She is going to erase our memories tomorrow morning." Sora's crystal body flashed with fear. "I suspected as much. Security forces searched my lab this afternoon. They took most of my quantum frequency equipment." "Did they find the data we copied from the restricted archive?" "No. I hid it in a place they would never look." Sora pointed to a small device attached to her chest. "Inside my own crystal matrix. The data is part of me now." Minho stared at her. "That is dangerous. Foreign data could damage your mind." "Better. A damaged mind than no mind at all." Sora finished packing her equipment. "I have been preparing for this. I found something important while you were with Kethra." "What?" "The locations of 12 other humans. They are scattered across 6 different Vorthaki worlds, all raised like you were, all told the same lies." Minho felt his heart beating faster. 12 others? There were more, but Sora's light dimmed. Some chose neural adjustment willingly. Others were forced into it when they became too curious about their past. "We have to warn the others. I have already started. Using quantum frequency transmission, I sent coded messages to 3 of them. If they are smart, they will understand and respond." Sora led Minho deeper into her laboratory, to a room he had never seen before. Inside was a small spacecraft, barely big enough for 2 people. "You built this?" "Modified it. It was an old survey craft scheduled for recycling. I have been working on it for months just in case." The ship looked fragile compared to the massive Vorthaki vessels Minho had seen, but it had something they did not. It was designed for stealth, not power. "Where will we go?" "First to the trading station at Kepler Station. It is neutral territory where many different species meet. From there, we can contact the other humans safely." Minho climbed into the ship's pilot seat. The controls were a mix of Vorthaki crystal technology and older mechanical systems. "Do you know how to fly this?" "I have been practicing in simulation. But real spaceflight will be different." A loud alarm began echoing through the building. Red lights flashed in the corridors outside. "They found out we are gone," Minho said. "Or they decided not to wait until morning." Sora quickly activated the ship's systems. "Hold on. This will not be smooth." The laboratory floor opened beneath them, revealing a hidden launch tunnel that led to the surface. Sora had planned this escape carefully. The ship shot upward through the tunnel and burst out of the ground near the crystal mountains outside the city. Immediately, Vorthaki security ships appeared on their sensors. 3 pursuit craft approaching fast, Sora reported. "Their ships are much faster than ours." "But can they follow us through the crystal canyons?" Sora looked at him with surprise. "The canyons are too narrow and dangerous. No one flies through them." "Humans do." Minho took control of the ship and dove toward the red crystal formations that covered Vorthak's surface. The canyons were like a maze of sharp walls and narrow passages. One wrong move would smash them into the crystal faces. But as they flew deeper into the maze, Minho felt something strange happening. His hands seemed to know exactly how to move the controls. His eyes could see the safe paths through the deadly formations. It was like his human brain was built for this kind of flying. "How are you doing that?" Sora asked as they shot through a gap barely wider than their ship. "I do not know. It feels natural." Behind them, the Vorthaki security ships were trying to follow, but their larger craft could not fit through the narrow spaces. One ship scraped against a crystal wall and had to turn back. Another got stuck in a dead-end canyon. "Incredible," Sora whispered. "I have never seen anyone fly like that." They burst out of the canyon system and climbed toward space. Vorthak's purple atmosphere fell away beneath them, replaced by the black of deep space dotted with stars. "Are we clear?" Minho asked. Sora checked her instruments. "For now, but they will send more ships, faster ones." "How long to reach the trading station?" 2 days at maximum speed, if our engines hold together." They had been flying for 6 hours when Sora's quantum receiver began picking up signals, messages from the other humans she had contacted. 3 responses, she reported, excitedly. They understood the coded transmissions. Minho listened as Sora translated the messages. The other humans were scattered across the galaxy, but they all had the same story. Dreams of Earth, questions about their past, and growing suspicion that they had been lied to. One message came from a human named Jae-sung on a mining world called Zerion. He had been having dreams of green forests and flowing rivers. Another came from a human woman named Bo Young, who worked as a translator on a diplomatic station. She dreamed of blue skies and white clouds. "They are all remembering," Minho said. "Just like I did. The neural suppression must weaken over time," Sora replied. "The Vorthaki technology cannot completely erase genetic memory." The third message was different. It came from someone called Sung Min on a world near the galactic rim. His message was longer and more detailed. "He says there are others," Sora translated. "Humans who have been gathering in secret. They found each other through dreams and shared memories. A hidden colony? More than that. He says they have been building something. Ships, weapons, a rescue fleet." Minho felt hope burning in his chest like fire. "They are planning to save the other stolen children, and they want us to join them." The ship's alarms suddenly started screaming. Sora checked her sensors and her crystal body flashed with panic. "Vorthaki battlecruiser approaching fast. It will intercept us in 20 minutes. Minho looked at their tiny ship's pathetic weapons and armor. They could not fight a battlecruiser and win. "Can we reach the trading station first?" "Not at our current speed. And if we push the engines harder, they might explode." Minho closed his eyes and thought about his parents. Jinho had died fighting to protect human children. Yunji had sacrificed herself to save him. They had been brave when facing impossible odds. "Sora, I need you to send a message to the hidden colony. Tell them what we learned about the Vorthaki invasion. Tell them about the other stolen children who need rescue." "What are you planning?" "You're going to take the ship to the trading station. I am going to buy you time. No, I will not leave you. The information is more important than my life. The other humans need to know the truth." Sora's crystal body was glowing with distress. There must be another way. Minho started putting on one of the ship's emergency spacesuits. "Remember what Kethra said? Humans are dangerous when threatened. Maybe it is time to show the Vorthaki just how dangerous we can be. Minho, you cannot fight a battlecruiser by yourself. I am not going to fight it. I am going to talk to..." Sora stared at him like he had gone insane. "Talk to it? There might be other humans on that ship. Vorthaki security forces sometimes use human slaves for dangerous work. If I can reach them, maybe I can wake them up like you woke me up." Minho sealed his helmet and moved toward the ship's airlock. Through the small window, he could see the massive Vorthaki battlecruiser approaching like a crystal mountain in space. "If this works, tell the hidden colony that humans are coming home," he said. "If it does not work, tell them to fight harder than they have ever fought before." Minho wait. But he was already gone, drifting in space toward the enemy ship. Behind him, Sora's tiny craft accelerated away toward the trading station and safety. Minho activated his suit's communication system and broadcast on all frequencies. "Vorthaki battlecruiser, this is Minho of Earth. I am the son of Jinho and Yunji. I am a free human and I am coming home." The battlecruiser's weapon systems powered up, preparing to destroy him. But Minho was not afraid. For the first time in his life, he knew exactly who he was. He was human. He was free. And he was going to make sure his people remembered what that meant. Minho drifted in space toward the massive Vorthaki battlecruiser. His heart was beating fast, but his mind was calm. He had made his choice. The ship's weapon systems were charging, ready to turn him into space dust. But something made them hesitate. Maybe they were curious about the human who dared to approach them alone. "Unknown human," a voice crackled through his helmet radio. "You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." "I am Minho of Earth," he replied. "I want to speak to any humans on your ship." Silence. Then a different voice, harder and colder. "There are no humans here, only Vorthaki crew and security personnel." But Minho heard something in the background, a sound that made his blood freeze. Someone crying, someone young, someone human. "I can hear them," Minho said. "Let me talk to them." "You will be brought aboard for questioning. Any attempt to resist will result in immediate termination." A docking bay opened in the side of the battle cruiser. Tractor beams pulled Minho inside. As soon as he landed, Vorthaki security guards surrounded him. Their crystal bodies glowed with threatening red light. They stripped him of his spacesuit and weapons, then marched him through the ship's corridors. As they walked, Minho saw something that broke his heart. Human children working as servants, cleaning the crystal floors and maintaining equipment. They all had the same empty look in their eyes, the same lost expression he used to have. "How many?" he asked one of the guards. "Enough to serve our needs." They brought him to the ship's command center where a tall Vorthaki officer waited. Her crystal body was dark blue, almost black and covered with battle scars. "I am Commander Velthar," she said. "You are the escaped human from Vorthak." "I am Minho, and I am here to take the children home." Velthar's crystal body flashed with what might have been amusement. "Home? You have no home. Earth is dead. Your people are extinct. That is what you told all of us, but it was a lie. Look around you, human. These children serve the Vorthaki willingly. They are fed, sheltered, and given purpose. What more could they want?" Minho looked at the human children working nearby. They moved like robots without joy or hope. One of them, a girl who looked about 15, was cleaning a control panel. She had the same dark hair and brown eyes as him. "What is your name?" he asked her. The girl looked up, startled. No one had asked her name in years. I do not remember. Do you dream?" Minho asked gently. The girl's eyes widened. "Dreams are forbidden. They cause pain. What do you dream about?" "Water," the girl whispered. "Water falling from the sky, and green things growing in the ground." Commander Velthar moved between them. "Enough. The child has work to do." But Minho kept talking to the girl. "Your dreams are memories. Memories of Earth, of our real home." "Earth is a myth," the girl said, but her voice was uncertain. "No. Earth was real. It was beautiful. Your parents lived there. They loved you." Tears started falling down the girl's face. "My parents? They fought to protect you. They died to save you, and they would want you to remember who you are." Other human children had stopped working and were listening now. Hope was growing in their eyes like small flames. Commander Velthar's crystal body flashed with anger. "Guards, remove the prisoner. Prepare the neural adjustment equipment." But as the guards moved toward Minho, alarms began screaming throughout the ship. The lights dimmed and the floor shook. "Commander," a Vorthaki officer reported. "Multiple ships approaching at high speed. Unknown design." "How many?" 50. "No, 100. They keep coming." Through the command center's crystal windows, Minho saw them. Ships that looked nothing like Vorthaki vessels. Ships built by human hands from human dreams of returning to the stars. "The colony," Minho whispered. "They came." Commander Velthar turned to her weapons officer. "Open fire, destroy them all." "Cannot comply, Commander. They are jamming our targeting systems with some kind of quantum interference." Minho smiled. That was Sora's work. She had made it to the trading station and contacted the hidden colony. She had told them where to find him. The human ships surrounded the Vorthaki battlecruiser like a pack of wolves. They were smaller and faster, dancing around the bigger ships' clumsy attempts to hit them. "This is Commander Hyejin of the Free Earth Fleet," a voice announced over the radio. "We demand the immediate release of all human prisoners." Commander Velthar laughed. "You are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender now and we might let some of you live." "We are human," Hyejin replied. "We do not surrender." The battle began. Human ships darted in and out of the Vorthaki cruiser's blind spots, hitting critical systems with precise strikes. They fought like Minho had flown through the crystal, canyons with impossible skill and daring. But the cruiser's armor was thick, and its weapons were powerful. Several human ships were destroyed in bright flashes of light. Minho could not watch his people die while he stood helpless. He turned to the human children around him. "Do you want to go home?" he asked them. The girl with tears on her face nodded. So did the others. "Then help me take this ship." "We cannot fight," one of the boys said. "We are not warriors." Neither was I until today. But we are human. When we fight together, we are stronger than any enemy. Minho grabbed a crystal tool from a nearby workstation and smashed it against a control panel. Sparks flew and alarms screamed louder. "The humans are sabotaging ship systems," a Vorthaki officer reported. Commander Velthar drew her weapon and pointed it at Minho. "Stop them, or I will kill you all." But the human children were no longer afraid. They had remembered who they were. They began destroying equipment throughout the command center. "Stop," Velthar screamed. "I order you to stop." "You have no power over us anymore," Minho said. "We remember our names. We remember our parents. We remember Earth." The sabotage worked. The battlecruiser's shields failed just as the human fleet launched their final attack. Explosions rocked the ship from bow to stern. "Evacuation pods launching," someone reported. "Vorthaki crew abandoning ship." Commander Velthar looked around the ruined command center. Most of her crew was gone. Only she and a few guards remained, facing dozens of human children who were no longer afraid. "This is impossible," she whispered. "You are just children." "We are the children of Earth," Minho said. "And Earth does not forget its own." The docking. Bays opened and human rescue ships came aboard. Minho watched as his people embraced the freed children, welcoming them home with tears of joy. Commander Hyejin entered the command center, flanked by human soldiers. She was older than Minho, with gray hair and eyes that had seen too much war. But when she looked at him, she smiled. "You must be Minho. Sora told us about you. Is she safe?" "Safe and working with our quantum specialists. Her research will help us find every stolen human child in the galaxy." Hyejin turned to Commander Velthar. "You and your people are free to go, but the children stay with us." "They belong to the Vorthaki Empire," Velthar protested. "They belong to themselves, and to Earth." As the Vorthaki were escorted away, Hyejin put her hand on Minho's shoulder. "I knew your parents," she said quietly. "Jinho was my friend. Yunji was like a sister to me. They would be proud of what you did today." Minho felt tears on his face. "Are we really going home?" "We are home. Wherever humans gather together, wherever we remember who we are, that is Earth." She led him to an observation deck where he could see the human fleet. Hundreds of ships now as more arrived every hour. Ships full of humans who had never forgotten their dream of the stars. "Come," Hyejin said. "There is something you need to see." They traveled to the fleet's command ship, then to a special chamber at its heart. Inside was something that took Minho's breath away. Rain. Water fell from hidden nozzles in the ceiling, creating a gentle shower that filled the room with the sound he had dreamed about his entire life. Plants grew in the artificial soil beneath his feet, green things reaching toward lights that mimicked Earth's sun. "We built this from the memories of the survivors," Hyejin explained. "Every human ship has one, a piece of Earth to carry with us wherever we go." Minho stepped into the rain and felt the water on his skin. It was exactly like his dreams, cool and clean and full of life. Around him, the freed children were experiencing rain for the first time. They laughed and cried and danced in the falling water. They were remembering what it meant to be human. "What happens now?" Minho asked. Now we find the others. Every stolen child. Every hidden colony. Every human who was told their people were extinct. Haijin's eyes burned with determination. And then we build a new earth among the stars. Minho closed his eyes and let the rain wash away years of lies and loneliness. He thought about his parents, about Sora's courage, about all the humans who had fought to make this moment possible. He was home. They were all home, and they would never be lost again.